This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. I'm Gary Dick. The Mill, a nonprofit entrepreneurship center in Bloomington, has launched an accelerator program aimed at startups looking to scale up their operations. The 90 Days to Scale program will focus on a cohort of 5 to 6 companies that will receive personalized one-on-one support, participate in expert-led workshops, and have access to resources to help them grow. Ravi Bhatt is the program lead for 90 Days to Scale.
We're trying to flip the model here a little bit and say, like, okay, let's really get these peer cohorts built. Let's figure out what the companies need, and then subordinate to that need, figure out what capacity do we need to build. And I think that's going to lead to a bunch of cool stuff.
Baseball is set to return to Kokomo's Municipal Stadium as a result of a new agreement. The city has announced a deal with Westfield-based Bullpen Ventures, LLC, which will lease and operate the stadium and bring back full-time collegiate summer baseball. Jasper Holdings, the parent of a host of companies in the automotive industry, has acquired a regional plumbing contractor with several branches in the Southeast. Georgia-based Jenkins Holdings, which does business as Jenkins Plumbing, was founded more than 30 years ago and specializes in installation services for single-family homes. From the state's #1 source for Indiana business news, you're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Indiana's economy is on the move, and every region has a role to play. Join IBJ Media and Inside Indiana Business for the Innovate Indiana series, presented by Indiana University and Old National Bank. We're traveling to 10 regions across the state to spotlight business growth, workforce development, innovation, and Indiana's tech hubs. Don't miss this front row look at Indiana's future and the growth opportunities in your region. Find out when we'll be in your area at ibj.com/innovate. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita is seeking to revoke the real estate license of Jeremy Tucker of Avon, who has been sued by investors, lenders, and contractors dozens of times.
In an administrative complaint, Rokita alleges that Tucker, quote, has engaged in a multi-state loan fraud scheme and forgery of loan documents, actions that undermine the integrity of the real estate profession and poses a significant risk to the public, end quote. In the complaint, filed May 21st, Rokita asks the Indiana Real Estate Commission to permanently revoke Tucker's real estate license, to assess $29,000 in civil penalties against Tucker, and to require him to pay court costs plus an unspecified amount of restitution to those harmed by the actions described in the complaint. Rokita's complaint centers on a consumer complaint his office received in February from Carmel resident Rodney Gard, a former business associate of Tucker's, who alleges that Tucker forged Gard's signature on multiple documents in order to obtain false mortgages under Gard's name. Because of the forgeries, Gard has been named as a co-defendant in more than a dozen foreclosure cases that allege Gard defaulted on promissory notes and mortgages. As of March, Tucker was a defendant or co-defendant in more than 25 pending cases in Hamilton, Hendricks, Marion, and Shelby counties. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
State government officials rescinded more than 8,400 hybrid remote work agreements Tuesday as Governor Mike Braun's push to return state employees to the office takes full effect. There will be no more hybrid arrangements. Employees will either work solely in state offices or solely at home. The state dropped from more than 10,500 active remote work agreements in January, when Braun's executive order was issued, to less than 600 as of July 1. Indiana scored a $6.25 million boost from the federal government to expand registered apprenticeships across the state. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development Work-Based Learning and Apprenticeship Team secured the federal grant as part of a nearly $84 million national push by the U.S. Department of Labor to expand apprenticeship capacity. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.